whatever. Okay. Can everyone fill out attendance before we start? Everyone's good? Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, we're hosting RecCTF. This is going to be on April 17th, and we need more people to write challenges. I think it's really fun to take what you know about cybersecurity and look at it from a different perspective, writing a challenge for people to solve rather than solving it yourself. I think it's really fun, and you'll have a new perspective. So you guys should reach out to me or Sean, we're the CTF captains, if you're interested in writing a challenge, and we can help you through the process and stuff. Magnet Forensics is hiring. They're a sponsor of our club, so they'll probably give special consideration to your resume, and it's a pretty cool company. They crack phones for like law enforcement stuff. So it's a pretty interesting job that you'll be working on. And these are meeting times. By the fact that you're here, I'm pretty sure you guys know where and when this is. Yeah, we also have the online calendar that you can subscribe to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Darton's slides. Okay. There, okay. What? Actually, full screen. Yeah. Wait. Like this, maybe. There.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Hey everyone, can everyone hear me in the back? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. Awesome. So this is Pushing the Needle Forward, a basic social engineering primer by, well, me. All right. So as a quick disclaimer, a couple of things. I'm not your attorney. This isn't legal or financial advice. Don't do anything illegal. Not responsible for anything you do with this information. Don't use this to harm others. That's kind of a pretty big one, since I'm teaching you essentially how to, well, push the needle a bit on decisions. So if it was like, say, 50-50 chance of yes or no happening, this is going to push it to more of a 70-30 or higher. Basically, I'm not teaching you Jedi mind tricks. I'm teaching you how to make it a bit more in your favor. So again, that's why it's important to be responsible with these sort of things. And finally, probably most importantly of all, it's going to be a bit of an odd talk, even by my standards. So yeah, let's get started. Oh, come on. Okay, all right, whatever. So let's go over the agenda. First off, teach you spacing, listening, speaking, and then finally getting to yes. So after that, I'll go over the conclusion, I'll go over my sources, and then I'll give thanks to the people who deserve it. That works. Okay, can I have a volunteer, please? All right, come forward. I told you, it's going to be an odd talk. All right. Yeah, of course. Anyway, okay, so anyone know why I have what the slide means? Wild guess. Sort of. Anyone else? Oh, that's it. Okay, so you're actually going to have to demonstrate this. So people are like eggs in that their area of personal space is egg-shaped. So for example, this is where I'm standing right now, about like about here's professional space. This is personal. I'm going to sit closer. This is too much. You can see kind of tenses up visibly when I do that. So it's important to be aware of personal space, because where you are can affect someone's comfort level. Obviously, if you want to freak them out, you post up on them, just immediately get close. If you want to keep them comfortable and keep the discussion flowing properly, however, it's best to maintain, like, basically imagine around, say, you feel to reach out and like wave your fist in front of them but not actually hit them. That sort of distance. So if you do martial arts, you do dancing, you do something where space management is important, you kind of already have a built-in sense for this. If you don't, well, now you're trying to pick up a new hobby and get a skill process. So anyway, like I said, people come like eggs because in this way, it's like, it's kind of like this, sort of. So like, I'm going this way, obviously it's going to be awkward. However, I step to the side, it's not as awkward, right? Yeah. Yeah, so for example, so for example, if you want an excuse to close the distance while not freaking them out, you can pretend to show them something. So let's say this is a resume, your laptop, whatever. Yeah, check this out. So that you're in their face. Fun fact, or not so fun fact, is depending on your perspective. This is also a technique that pickpockets use to get closer to people because I'm like, you're instantly, you're instantly on guard. However, when I do this, I'm basically by you with more gaming space. I can go about what I wanted to. Like I said, please don't use this to harm people. Yeah, round of applause. Yeah, thank you. I might, and let's adjust that properly. So body language. Anyone know why I have these images on screen? Yes?
Very different body language, and it's aggressive, and the other's very jolly.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. Anyone else? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, one is very closed off on the left, very closed, like this, or like this, like arms crossed, kind of an equivalent. Whereas this is more open. So generally, if you want to try and get someone to open up, you have to project openness in the first place. You have to take the first step. So if someone's like, yeah, whatever, you got to be the one like, hey, what's up? A good way of doing this is like, you come with your hands facing, I show this on the desk, like this way, kind of, with your palms facing upwards, like, hey, what's up? And then offer your handshake or something. This is a way of essentially signaling non-verbally that you're not an aggressor, you're a friend, you're a pacifist, or what have you. It lowers people's view of how dangerous you are, essentially, and helps them more acclimate to you. So obviously, yeah, you can see here, this is very open. Oh, hold on. So, yeah. Whereas this, or something where your arms are close to you, you're folded up, very guarded. Try to keep that in mind. You can use this to subtly influence people to open up to you as time goes on. Of course, it's not all there is to it. Okay, so for the summary, know where you stand, both figuratively and literally, as you let me demonstrate, in relation to the other person. If you're too close, you immediately, your eye to eye, close enough to feel the breath on your face, that's probably a bit too close. Keep it chill, keep it respectful. This obviously also depends a lot on your social standing with them. If they're someone you've just now meeting, don't immediately close the distance. You keep it professional, and then as time goes on, you can start to get closer and a bit closer, what have you. Or case of tactic I described, is go to the side and stay in their space that way. In addition to that, look for signs of discomfort and orient accordingly. So again, if their arms are like this, oh yeah, no, that's closed off. Like this, or like this, or yeah, that's good. That's more opening, right? That shows that they're more open to receiving your presence. One final one that I can't really demonstrate unless I climb on the table is people's feet. So if you have a group of 2 or a group of 3 or more people, so demonstrate this without a little bit of hands. Okay, so if you're talking to people in a group, right? Say there's 2 of you, one person here, one person here. You want to know if you're really included in that group, right? One way you can tell is by the feet. So people have an instinctual behavior, to either run or flee, essentially. So if their feet are facing towards you, then that means that you're included, you're in the in-group. If they're facing away from you, they're pointing at the other person and not you, then that might signal to them that they haven't really accepted you, they're more hostile, they're more closed off. But you can work on that, give it time to let it sit. This also applies to the rest of the body, like their torso, you're volunteering. Thank you. Appreciate it. I probably should mention this. It might be a bit awkward, but you'll be better off for it. So for example, say you're talking to someone here, right? Now it's up to you. You're saying like this, you look over, your neck, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. That close off. That's telling me, okay, they want acknowledgement, they want to get back to their conversation. If you turn fully, so you can't see it, but his feet are like this, kind of instinctual. There's this person here that he's also open with, and now he's open to me as well. So the reason I'm putting so much emphasis on this, the reason I'm putting so much emphasis on just spacing and body language alone is because this is kind of the first step. It's what you do before you even start talking to them. So it's the little things that really just help push and push and push and push. Just nudge ever so slightly to make it more open to getting the result you want. This comes from, a lot of this information comes from a talk from Apollo Robbins. He's a thief turned, I suppose, professional speaker / professional magician. So he has a lot of tips on getting into personal space. The trick of the egg, right? That was from, he brought it up in the first time I noticed it. However, he uses it from a book by some psychologist. I can't recall the name. However, it's in the YouTube video. it is definitely worth a watch because it goes over a lot of things that are just relevant to the talk and just interesting in general. Listening. Don't talk yourself out of a good deal. So, any of you ever see Aladdin? Like the 1995 version, I want to say? Yeah, 1, 2, who else? Yeah, I guess not. Right. So, the reason I bring that up, right? Robin Williams did the voice acting for that one. And usually he got an insane payday because he's an incredible actor. He's Robin Williams, for God's sake. You know? If you see him in any movie, you know his voice acting potential is insane. And so usually he'd get a payday of like, say, 8 million, I believe, which is a lot. However, Aladdin is a kids movie. And so he decided, hey, I'm gonna do something for the kids. I'm gonna drop my fee a bit to 750,000, which is also a lot, but it's not 8 million. He's just like, okay, sure, whatever, fine. You know. They didn't name a price. He's going for one thing. All right, you know what? I'll do it for 750,000. And they agreed. That's the deal. Let's try. Now, the reason I bring him up as an example is because the film ended up doing 540 million in the box office. He was pissed. He was like, ah, man, I could have made way more. And so, fortunately, the story is a happy ending. Disney gifted him a Picasso painting that was worth around $1 million to help sweeten the deal with it after the office came out. But that's the point that I'm making. Is don't immediately open with your demands. Wait for the other person or the other party, the other speaker, what have you, to give you what they want, and then you can go from there. Basically, first listen, then understand. So this is a really great talk. I'm gonna open this. Come on. There you go. So I'm going to play this real quick because it gives a really good example of nonverbal negotiation. Like it's simple, but it's also brilliant. Come on, play, please. And please just play. Come on, you're killing me here, YouTube.
I'm sorry that I made this. Sherry, I was a shopping for one yourselves. Hold on. This is the same amount I was paying you full time. And I was that's the more you pretty much saying like huge amount paying more money a year at a time. I'm saying that what we do is more data than I should be able to just distortion.
Oh, you can. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry you have.
Oh, so for context, Jack is paying his nanny a fee that he thinks is unfair. She thinks is completely fine. And well, we'll see.
Wait for this, Sherry. I hope there was enough sharp meat in the refrigerator for one of your sandwiches. Hold on. This is the same amount I was paying you when you worked full time, and now you're just working nights. It's the more you where you understand my confusion. I'm actually paying you more money to be here half the time. I'm not saying that what you do isn't important. Avery and I appreciate you, and Liddy just adores you. But let's just say you're at the market buying potatoes, and that 10-pound bag of potatoes costs $400. But then the grocery concierge tells you that a 5-pound bag of potatoes costs $400. Well, that would be shocking, right? Because a 5-pound bag should only cost $200. What I'm saying is that we value what you do, but this rate is unreasonable.
So, what do you want to do?
I want to resolve this fairly and amicably. And I don't want any bad blood. So it was nice negotiating with you, and here is all your money.
Right. So I'm going to fast forward a bit in the clip, but did you notice anything interesting? Anything that she did that stood out to you? Yeah. Sorry, you in the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't like really like mention anything about the cost itself. Like he was the one who like talked himself out of convincing her to I guess forego the high wage that he's.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
It's also interesting that she waited she listened to his demands and even has like the only response was like, what do you want? And he responded. And so she was, it seems like it was just kind of like cattle confusion kind of. That makes sense. She's like not really responding. She's like,
Yeah, she just listened and then she just waited for him to talk and talk and talk. And then just afterwards prompted him, what do you want to do? Anything else? Yeah.
He's pretty interested in the conversation at hand. This is being orange, which I mean, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say uninterested per se. I'd say she's clearly listening. She's just not saying anything, I suppose. So I'm going to fast forward a bit because if you think this is kind of a ridiculous technique, this would never work in real life. Well, let's see. Where are we? Right over here. So for context, he works for a news media corporation as a high power executive, and he's got a negotiation with NBC that's going through, and he wants to make sure that the deal gets pushed through for the price that he wants. Now, he's just been, for reference, the clip is great. He gets taken by the nanny like I think one or two more times in the same way, and then he realizes, wait a minute, it's like, oh my god, I'm from Harvard Business School. I took all these classes on negotiating, and I'm being owned by a nanny that's, by a nanny essentially, someone with no formal education. He's like, damn, I need someone to teach me negotiating. He's like, wait a minute, and then that was supposed to be more dramatic. And then
Networks receiving licensing fees is unprecedented, Jack. But we're willing to offer NBC 10% of what we pay cable. I mean, okay, not to negotiate against myself, but I get where you guys are coming from.
Look, NBC's part of the King Town family now. It's our baby, and we want it to thrive.
But your offer is it's unreasonable.
So, what you want to do?
right, and then let's get this. Hey, hello. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Oh, because you opened it on the same tab.
Sorry about that. All right, let's go back and then there. Gotcha. Right. So, suppose what do you notice about that clip? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, as you see, you don't necessarily have to say anything to negotiate. You can kind of just let them talk themselves out of it, as demonstrated very successfully. It's not to say that you don't appear uninterested or you're not listening. You say or like acknowledge it. You just don't have to agree or especially say anything. So why listening is a very valuable skill. So again, you're listening. You're just not necessarily saying anything specific. You're just letting them talk and talk and talk, and then once they've reached kind of the end of their thing, you can just follow with something. Okay, what do you want to do? So you leave it open ended, and then you put the decision back onto them essentially, instead of just agreeing to it directly. So like I said, don't talk yourself out of a good deal, and just be patient. Let them finish speaking first, and then just let it simmer for a bit. You can eat an orange. You can kind of wait. Just make it clear that you're listening. You're just not saying anything without being rude. Attitude matters. So anyone want to explain why I have this picture up? What does this mean?
It's the beam of what you see. So you got one guy that's just focusing on how bad the flip side is versus the view on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of your perspective matters a fair bit. So if you go into something thinking, oh my God, this is going to suck. I hate this. Oh God, this is going to be awful. Da, 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 da. Your reality and your behavior is going to unconsciously reflect that because you're entering it with a bad attitude. By contrast, you think, okay, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to crush this. You'll perform better. This has been scientifically proven. It's objectively proven. If you do it yourself, I guarantee you'll probably see results. The point I'm making is don't enter a negotiation thinking, oh my gosh, give me a bloodbath. I'm going to come out of this losing everything. Got to go into it thinking with a good attitude, thinking, okay, how can I get what we want? How can we reach an amicable conclusion? And finally, use your diaphragm. So I'm not an expert. I'm working this as well. I'm going to explain this one because it's a bit more unorthodox. Like I said, really odd. So generally, when everyone speaks, or a lot of people speak, most of the time they use their throat. So if you speak from your throat, you sound kind of washed out, kind of tired, not very powerful. Your diaphragm, by contrast, this is your natural speaking voice. This is the voice you were born with. This is the voice that you will have for as long as you live, essentially. Unless you get serious damage, but that's a different story. Anyway, the reason I have some guy lying down is because it uses your diaphragm when you speak. You quite literally cannot speak from your throat in that case. So this is me speaking from my diaphragm currently. Not sure if you can tell the difference, but I certainly can. The reason I tell you to do this is because your voice comes out more powerful, it sounds more natural, it just sounds better in general. And it also allows you to speak louder without necessarily straining your vocal cords. So if you do martial arts, you are taught to strain from your diaphragm. If you sing or you're public speaking, you're also taught this. If you have an obsession with metal slingers, they do this to not destroy their vocal cords. Essentially, when you speak, you should speak from your diaphragm. So there are videos on YouTube on how to do this properly. Again, I'm not an expert. I just know the trick of lying down and speaking. But one such way is when you're speaking, your tummy should deflate, essentially. So if you breathe in, you try and inflate your stomach with a balloon. And then when you exhale, you should feel go back down. So I understand it's a bit of a hard visual to picture, but the lying down trick works well. I will say this much. One trick you can do if you have a phone interview with recruiters to sound just a bit better, take it in bed. I know it sounds awkward, but like you're lying down or something, just put the phone next to you and your notebook or whatever so you can take notes and then just talk while you're in bed. Your voice will sound just a smidge better. And again, every little bit counts. I told you, this is going to be an odd talk. So, and then finally, silence is golden. Don't say don't say like, don't use filler words. So like, stuff like that. The little awkward things you try when you're trying to not drag on and on and on, and you're thinking something to say. So instead, try and focus on being silent, like gather your thoughts. So I need another volunteer. Come on. Anyone? There? Yeah. There you go. Come on. It'll be terrible. You'll be better off for it. Come on. Good, man. There you go. Right. So I have a task for you. Yep. You're going to give a 1-minute intro on yourself and talk about a random topic that you're just working on. Go.
Hello, my name is Vishal. I'm a second year computer science major. Currently, I'm working with. Actually, what was I working on? Okay. I was like literally just playing games all day. I guess I was working on a project for CS2200, which is systems and networks, which considers page faults and the page table and managing processes on the page table and managing memory in that regard.
Okay, thank you. No. So we want you to now, instead of saying focus on being silent for a bit while you gather your thoughts. It's going to sound awkward. It's going to feel awkward to you, but I guarantee you no one here is going to notice that you're taking a pause. Unless I point out which people break. But I guarantee you, just focus on remaining silent while you gather your thoughts. Try it. Okay.
Hello, my name is Vishal. I'm a second year computer science major, and
It's okay. Right. It's okay. Yeah.
currently I'm working on a CS2200 project, which involves managing memory using page tables and managing processes that go in and out of the table, and
Yeah, a lot better. So obviously practice it some, but also it's a skill that you develop over time. So if you break it down sentence by sentence and then you just have a space in between, no one's gonna really notice. But yeah, you did it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you do that for? All right. So obviously, I'm not exactly an expert on this. I say or ah or hesitate a bit as well. But again, the trick of using spaces in between your sentences goes a long way. It makes you sound more professional, makes you sound more confident. If you just take a minute to stand there and ponder, it's fine. I guarantee you, as long as you keep it within like a second or two or what have you, it'll feel longer in your head, but 1 second is a tiny, tiny amount of time. You'll sound more professional. You'll be able to gather your thoughts more succinctly. And most importantly of all, people will appreciate it because you'll seem more well spoken. So again, it's not something you develop overnight, it's something you do with practice. So summary, attitude matters. Have a positive outlook on everything, and then positive things will happen. Don't go into thinking, it's gonna suck, I'm gonna hate this is awful, I'm never gonna do this, ever again. You gotta be positive, right? And a smile on your face. And it shows. Speak from your diaphragm. So how you say matters as well. And finally, silence is golden. Focus on not using filler words. Just try and focus on keeping a little bit of space between your words. Anyway, disclaimer, because we're talking about the getting to yes section. Don't be a creep and don't misconstrue my words or I'm going to be pissed off. No doesn't always mean no. It's a foolish sentiment to live by. If someone says no and you just respect it and move on, there are going to be other opportunities. Applies in dating, generally dealing with people, etc. Obviously, there are times where you have a bit of leeway, but you're all smart enough people. Don't use this to harass people and do nefarious things with it. So let's talk about mirroring. So I need one more volunteer. Yeah, sure. Come on. There we go. Well, okay. Can you tell me about what you're working on, like for class?
Oh, myself.
Yeah, what are you working on? Okay, take your time.
I was looking on my own.
Oh,
Ah,
tell me
that's
more.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm currently working on the malware called Lucius. It's a very fantastic malware that focuses its attentions on packing.
Yeah.
The idea of packing is that it will encrypting the entire malware code, and you
exactly.
must have to unpack it
Gotcha.
so you can understand the entire malware code and what it does. It has 5 bugs. It's a shitty virus.
Shitty virus, I got you. Yeah. Okay. So I think you got what I was doing.
Copy these exact
Movements, yeah. If you do it exactly like down to the wire, it's a bit awkward. However, you can also do stuff like mimicking tone, voice, or not voice to regard, but more local mannerism. So how people talk, as well as just focusing on certain keywords and certain actions within the sentence, and then using those to prompt more information. So, for example, if I want to keep you talking about malware, I'd say, "Oh, malware. Tell me more about like." I'd probably say something like, "Oh, Lucius. That seems like a fairly old one." And then it's not. It's not really.
It's not old. It's a new. It's pretty recent, I guess.
Very recent.
It's basically attacks the Windows executable files.
Very recent.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of recent. I mean, I wouldn't say too modern.
Okay.
The modern viruses.
So not too modern compared to.
Compared to like I guess the modern ones like Humphreys, I believe one of them. One of them was like a really modern virus where there's actually anti-debuggers.
There you go. I'm just.
I'm trying to play along.
Anyway, Stanford. Okay, so have you stay there for a second. So mirroring basically means you kind of mirror their actions to a degree. Obviously, don't do it in an obvious degree. Don't like ape them to an exact, science. Keep it subtle. Keep it small. But essentially, feeding little bits of them back to them is a trick used by psychologists and other sorts to get someone to open up on something that they might not be maybe as comfortable doing. Labeling. Okay. You seem a bit uncomfortable. Is everything okay? Seem a bit uncomfortable, like a bit.
Am I comfortable?
No, a bit stressed. I mean,
time is money. I have no money.
A virus is money.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this a skip to this?
No, you're good. It's just be normal.
Okay.
Yeah. So labeling. Anyone know I have a label maker up there? Oh, there's a small case. Come on. I mean, that's his. I think it's. Does anyone know why I have a label maker on screen?
That saves you time.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Labeling basically means in this case you label how someone is feeling. So obviously you don't go to someone directly and be like, hey, you seem very stressed out. Is everything okay? You say, hey, seem a bit antsy. Is everything going okay? You modify the phrasing essentially to suit how you tend to speak with the person. You can be a bit less overt about it. However, it helps to call out how someone's feeling because it helps them feel seen essentially. So if I say, hey, you seem happy, did something nice happen recently? Say, yeah, actually, I got a job, my friends got a job, whatever. You say you seem sad, then same thing. You can get someone to open up a bit more. This in turn builds a bit more favor towards them because they feel seen by you. Okay. You're doing great. Just stay there for a bit longer. And that's right. So this is basically where you summarize everything that you kind of summarize what they've said and then repeat it back to them in order to gain that's right. So an example for this would be, okay, so you told me about Mallow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said Lucius was a fairly modern, not too modern one that doesn't use very advanced anti-debugging techniques, and it has 5 bugs, and it's not the greatest virus in the world, and you're studying in class, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Look at that. All right. Yeah.
Can I go around?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you. So anyway, that helps build a bit of rapport because it helps them feel seen, essentially. I know that some of this comes off, a lot of this actually comes off as like salesman techniques or like a bit cringy or whatever. This stuff works, honestly. All the techniques I've pulled from are either from people that use it in the field or in this case, actually, this was from a hostage negotiator for the FBI who used this technique often in order to save lives. So the theory behind this sort of technique is you feedback what they're feeling to you to better confirm how they're feeling. And then from there, you can establish a greater rapport. So this helps them be more amicable to saying yes to whatever it is you want, a promotion at work, a job in general, a professor to bump your grade up, something like that. Finally, where do you fit in? So I'm going to need one final volunteer, and then I'm going to need you, before we come down, to make up a job position in your head. Like for, say, computer science, internship, someone that knows Python. Just any company, just have like some kind of idea in your head. So any volunteers? Yeah, sure. Right. MSc. That's to be done. Right. So stay there. So I'm going to give you 2 approaches just to demonstrate. The first one is the one that you've seen probably a dozen times ago in the career fair. Do you have a company name in mind?
Yeah, I was going to do the Georgia Tech cybersec analysis.
Okay, cybersec analysis. Okay, cool. Hey, what's your name?
Jaden?
Jaden, that's me. Hi, so my name is Darshan Singh. I'm a 30 computer science major. I'm currently studying computer science with concentration in cybersecurity. I have a lot of experience. I have this and that and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here's my resume. Take a look, please. Hire me. Thank you. How'd that feel?
Felt kind of rushed, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot of information. I'm not sure it's all relevant.
Yeah, exactly. The issue with this is you're overloading the person, not giving them a chance to speak. Remember what I said earlier, listen first and then speak. So let's try this again. So see me. Hey, students.
Jaden?
Hey, Darshan, that's me. Can you tell me a bit more about the position?
Sure. It's a cybersec analysis role on Georgia Tech. We'll be looking at phishing emails along with
Okay.
particularly incidences going to a Georgia Tech security system.
Okay, phishing emails. Can you tell me a bit more?
Oh, sure. So oftentimes Georgia Tech students click on malicious links, and sometimes this leads to these accounts being compromised. These accounts get compromised and can compromise even further accounts. Your job is to contain this threat and keep it down to as minimal damage as possible.
Gotcha. Okay, so is it more of a experience role, looking for someone more, say, malleable?
I would say mostly we're going to be training you from the ground up. This is an intern position. So if you have some level of network security as well as knowledge on common cybersecurity practices, then you should be good. But most of the job will be actually training.
And what are you looking for in terms of coding experience?
If you have some level of knowledge of Ghidra, that would be really nice. Python's great. Any level of coding, so long as you know, maybe one or two should be good.
Gotcha. Okay, so looking for someone that can help with phishing emails to prevent them, someone entry level, someone with intro to tech, obviously, and with some mild experience in Ghidra or Python or some scripting language. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Awesome. Actually, it works out pretty well because I have a fair bit of experience with all of those things. And then, thank you. So, how did I come up to the rest of you watching? Obviously, it's a skit I just made it from the start, but natural or pose, let them speak. Kind of like, I suppose you have to compare this. It'd be like in Fallout or like an RPG where you drop their dialogue. And just let them talk and talk and talk and talk, and you build an XP as time goes on because they're talking, they're sharing information with you. And you're, meanwhile, gaining more of an idea of how to better obtain what it is that you're after. So I was after a job. I had, maybe something or whatever. But by letting them talk and telling them what they want from me, I can better fit myself into the picture. So that's kind of a tip, both in the career fair and in real life. If I see any of you doing this at career fair, I'm going to laugh. I'm not going to lie. It kills the soul a bit, just watching people go up like, oh, hello, my name is such and such. I'm a third year doing this and this and this. Going through the elevator speech like a skip a little cutscene. It's annoying. Please, please, please don't do this. Learn from this example. Let them speak first, and then you can fit in yourself based off what they provided. If you can't, that's okay as well. Let them talk some more, and then find a way to work yourself in. And finally, don't sell past the close. I don't know what that's it. I don't know what that means. Yeah, perfect. So, to paraphrase essentially what you said, the saying among salesmen, basically, once you've made the deal, you closed it, don't keep trying to convince them over and over again, oh, this is a great deal. Like if I want you to buy something off me for $5 or whatever, and you buy say, oh, I promise you this is this and this and this and this, even after you complete the deal, you're going to get annoyed. Once you close the deal, right, you just go, oh, great, thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you, such and such. Keep it personal, keep it professional, what have you. Just don't keep trying to push the same thing, like, do this, do this, do this, do this. You've accomplished your goal, disengage, move on. Otherwise, it's awkward. So to summarize, you mirror them, not like overtly mirror them, like everything, down to the wire. But, you can keep it casual. Little gestures, little tone of voice, label their feelings, essentially. So, you seems like you're having a rough time finding a proper candidate. A lot of good potential. So yeah, that's right. And not that that's right. Essentially, you summarize what it is that they've said, what they're looking for to better understand what it is that they're after. You use via summary. This helps to also show that you're listening and makes them feel more seen. And finally, once you've got all the information you need, you insert yourself into the situation. So I'll say, oh, well, you've seen that as a problem, and you've told me all these things. I happen to be the perfect candidate to fix it. Or this thing happens to be perfect. You get the idea. And once you've gotten it, hopefully, don't sell past the close. Once you say yes, just let it be. You can be polite. You say, yeah, it's great meeting you. Don't keep trying to push yourself or whatever it is. So in conclusion, spacing, just remember where you are in terms of them. Don't like immediately post up on them because that's awkward. It feels really weird. Spacing is going to change depending on how close you are, how familiar you are with them. You play it by ear, essentially. Listening, pick up the important information. So part of this is not talking about the deal. Part of it is kind of just letting them talk and talk and talk and getting a better idea of what it is that they're after. You'd honestly be surprised what you can gain by just like prompting them with small prompts. Oh, that's interesting, tell me more. Or, oh, that seems cool. Or, oh, that seems kind of difficult. Surprised you can manage it. And then you get the idea. You've probably seen countless examples of it in media, but now you have an idea of what to look for. Speaking. Imagine you're speaking to an old friend. This is one tip that I didn't include in the main slides, but generally it also ties back to kind of your attitude. Like I previously mentioned, if you think, sucks, I hate this, no one's going to want to talk to you. When I had all my lovely volunteers come down, I tried to be more familiar. You know, this makes it easier for the other person to open up towards you because, again, you can kind of push it in there, it's going to go fine. And finally, getting to yes. You mirror, you label, you hit the that's right combo, you insert yourself, and then you know where to stop. So these are my sources. So the first one is the 30 Rock clip that I showed. The full clip is worth watching as well. It's like 5 minutes. You definitely got time for that. This is a video on how to speak from the diaphragm. Remember when I did the thing where I laid on the table? That's where I got the trick from. The video goes into much more depth and better explanation of how to speak from your diaphragm, so you don't wear out your vocal cords shouting to project to all the way back in the room. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This is the book where I got a lot of the tips in negotiation. It's written by a either former or current FBI hostage negotiator, so someone whose job is to be a good negotiator. Otherwise, people die, things go horribly wrong, etc., etc., etc. He's got a lot of really good advice. I like it a lot. The getting to yes thing is a bit of a play on the fact that he and his colleagues previously read getting to yes, tried to implement it, it didn't work, they went back to the drawing board, and then they came up with the techniques used in the book. And finally, the DEF CON 21 talk by Apollo Robbins, Social Engineering, the Gentleman Thief. A lot of DEF CON talks, they can be kind of hit or miss. This one is definitely a hit. By all means, the technique about your personal space is like an egg, getting close to people. Apollo knows his stuff. He was a pickpocket for some time, and he learned a lot about human psychology, and now uses it for good. So his advice is definitely worth taking. Anyway, that's all I got. Just want to say thanks to Apollo Robbins, Chris Voss, and the others for the resources, the club for hosting, and of course you for listening. Check out the slides, questions, comments. Here's my contact information. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Can you give any personal examples of when you use it?
Let's start with a scenario that might be a bit out of reach, might not be believable, but let's say hypothetically, a random 6'5" Indian guy walks into a GT club and says, "Hey, I want to give a lecture for a cybersecurity club." No credentials, no clearance, no idea who this guy is. Yeah. So I've given 2 talks before this. I don't have, I have some public speaking background and some cybersecurity background, but I'm in no way certified to do public speaking. That being said, a lot of these techniques I read about beforehand have been useful in getting, well, you want to do a career favor with the professor, you want to talk to people at career fair, especially. You just want to talk to people in general. It's really useful.
Why do you think the Career Center encourages the elevator pitch so much? It's so unsuccessful.
The elevator pitch is good, I will say. Like I don't mean to bash them in the slightest, but at the same time, it's a matter of application. You can train someone to recite something off the top of their head, but there has to be proper context for it first. Like when I went up to you, or if I see someone go up to something, just breathlessly recite it, it's awkward. It doesn't flow naturally. It's just like, you're just say hi, it doesn't flow. So you've got to sort of create an opening, and then you can fill that with your elevator pitch. And it's useful for structuring your thoughts of like what you want to say, what you want to convey, what you want the other person to know about you, that is important for the given task at hand. So it's not a bad thing, it's just a matter of use. So, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Thank you. Do you have any? Yeah. Cool. Diaphragm. Diaphragm. So you go.
I had a few internships for first interview. They asked me just like first thing, tell me your elevator pitch. But like I think that's different because they see my resume already and they like know a little bit about me and they just want to like get to know me and then they like talk about themselves. But I feel like if you're at
career fair, they go through everybody, so they want you to be a lot quicker. Whereas if they've already selected your resume out of the bunch, they want you to spend longer talking about yourself to get to know you. And also, when they say elevator pitch, they've already read your resume in that context. So I usually talk more about like stuff I do on the side rather than stuff I already listed on my resume.
Yeah, that's a good question.